You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Wednesday, August 26th. I'm Maria Lisignoli.
And I'm Johnny Kahner. Thanks for watching and listening to Four Things to Know today.
Our top story, social media giant Meta has reached a settlement with nearly all 50 states, ending the trial over teen addiction to social media. And that includes Minnesota. So Meta has agreed to pay states $17 billion. Yes, $1 billion. And then they agreed to add child safety measures to both Facebook and Instagram. Of that $17 billion, Minnesota could see between $214 and $307 million. The settlement ends a lawsuit against the tech company for knowingly designing harmful features to make platforms addictive to children and teens. Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison is celebrating this outcome.
Look, these changes are long overdue, but I give Meta credit for being the first major platform to agree to such comprehensive safety features. We don't want this to be the end of the story. It should be a signal to the entire social media industry that it's time to transform how they safeguard young people online.
So before the settlement, the head of Instagram had testified, and he defended Meta's record and progress on child safety. We also have the details of other requirements of the settlement, if approved by the judge. New safety features for kids aged 13 to 17 will include a combined 2-hour hard cap per day for Instagram and Facebook. There will also be a mandatory pause after 15 minutes of continuous use. And these limits remain in effect for 5 years. And this story really today got me thinking about when I signed up for Facebook and Instagram. I mean, I definitely was, I think I was over 13, but still, I was maybe 14.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I remember signing up for Twitter and Facebook when I was in elementary school.
No, you did not.
Yes. It was what all the cool kids were starting to do. Yeah. Back in elementary school. And then I felt guilty about it. I think like a week later, I told my mom that I'm on Facebook now. Like, is that okay?
Mom, I did something. But it really is wild how young people get online, get on social media, and how we're seeing now how it can affect your mental health, your addiction to these platforms. Do you feel addicted?
Twitter, I'm on X, I should say, way too often. Yeah. You just keep scrolling and then there's new content all day. I'm not on Instagram or anything like that anymore. Maybe I will be soon again.
Okay. Because with our job, it's a little crucial to be online in that way, but you kind of did beat it. You got rid of your Instagram and Facebook.
I did get rid of it because I just felt like I was wasting time, and the people that I want to keep in touch with, I do via the phone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I know there's other benefits to being on those platforms that I'm missing out on too. So I found a happy medium for myself, I would say.
And that's amazing. And that you had to be an adult to realize that, right? Because I mean, as a child, I've also put limits for myself with social media.
Yeah.
But as a child, I never would have, even in my teens and all the way through my 20s, addicted to social media.
100%. And it's hard because there's always FOMO. There's a fear that kids are missing out. What are their friends doing? You're in contact all the time now. So it's hard,
And there's that feeling, if the judge does approve this and Meta can literally cut off your time after 2 hours of going on these apps, it's a little bit ooh, is that okay? I don't know. But also, I think I would need that. I would need someone to be like, okay, you're done. You're done.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because it sounds like, I don't know too many details of the settlement, but there are limits to how long the settlement goes on. And then in 5 or 10 years, it can change again. So
we'll see. We'll be following.
Number 2, a conclusion in a tragic case came to an end today. Today, an 18-year-old man pleaded guilty to killing 10-year-old Lily Peters in Wisconsin. A judge sentenced her cousin, Carson Peters-Berger, to life in prison. He was 14 years old at the time of the murder. Lily was reported missing by her father back in April of 2022 after she left her aunt's house. Her body was then found in the woods near that home the following morning. In the investigation, Peters-Berger said he planned to rape and kill Peters from the get-go that night. Memorials, which included balloons, teddy bears, and candles, were set up outside of Parkview Elementary. That's where Peters went to school. The decor was mostly purple, which her friend said was her favorite color.
Number 3 today. After years of debate and drafting legislation, a new state task force on fraud is taking its first steps. The state's Office of Inspector General Commission is holding its first meeting today at the state capitol. Adam Duxter was in that meeting. He heard from Democrat State Senator Heather Gustafson and Republican State Senator Michael Kroon, among others, who say they're ready to tackle fraud.
This has been years in the making, but today lawmakers here at the state capitol say it is the most significant step forward to fighting fraud really in the last several years, and they are ready to take that step after we spoke with them just moments ago. Now, when this office is built, it'll be home to dozens, 40 plus investigators that will spend each day inspecting every level of state agency looking for potential cases of fraud. They'll then hand those investigations over for potential civil or criminal charges, potentially even to an in-house law enforcement agency that could be a reality within this division. And today we got a chance to meet the team in charge of this commission. It's made of a bipartisan group of 8 lawmakers from both the House and the Senate. And this morning that team chose a chair and vice chair and then immediately got to work on their next step, which is finding and hiring a new inspector general. They're looking for someone with a background in auditing, law enforcement, or investigations. And they're looking to have a recommendation of who that person will be to the state's new governor by January 1st. The governor will then make a recommendation of their own that the candidate would go to the Senate for approval. But this team today, Shayla, really touted how significant this moment is.
Because this is a historic moment for Minnesota. When we passed the bill to establish an independent Office of Inspector General, our state took a very serious step forward, creating an office to detect and investigate fraud and safeguard the integrity of the programs that Minnesotans rely on. This office has teeth, it has subpoena power, investigative authority, and real consequences for fraud and misuse of public funds.
Well, we finally got here. The Office of Inspector General is happening. We're going to get this off the ground, and it's going to make a big difference in Minnesota.
They say this office will be the end-all, be-all. They also say they're confident that that candidate to be the new inspector general is already out there, and they were confident they'll find them in time for that deadline.
Now to your 4th thing to know today, we are less than 1 day away from the gates opening at the Great Minnesota Get-Together, Maria. It's almost here.
Almost here. I'm excited.
So excited. And we know, and most of you know as well, that getting there can be a big challenge.
One of the most challenging parts of the state fair.
Kind of stressful, too, and just not much fun, right? Mm-hmm. But we are in year 2 of a new pay-by-mobile parking program in Falcon Heights, but there are some changes this year. Barrett Leone has more on what you need to know before putting it in park, and she also spoke with Jack Linehan, the Falcon Heights City Administrator.
There's a few changes in year 2 here. 1, smaller fines. 2, parking violations won't get you in trouble. And 3, Falcon Heights city leaders say they've made signs more clear. $25 daily parking fee. That's what you're going to pay if you come out here and park here for opening day of the state fair or any day during the fair. $25. So this is the 2nd year that Falcon Heights is bringing back its pay by mobile parking program. It covers about 1,000 parking spots near the fairgrounds. Throughout the 12 days of the fair, you can park here for that price, $25 between 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And new this year, parking violations are decriminalized and the fine is reduced from $100 to $35. City leaders say this frees up police to focus on serious calls. The city also says signage will be clearer so drivers know exactly where they need to pay.
We've increased our signage. We've made it more clear on how to pay because we had a lot of vehicles that didn't pay. And so our tickets were up last year quite substantially, but that wasn't the goal. We didn't want to make our revenue through ticket revenue, but that was one area that we under anticipated how many people wouldn't pay for parking. And so that was a little bit of a challenge.
So if you're not driving yourself, there are plenty of other ways you can get down to the state fair. You can take one of the park-in rides. There's stations scattered across the metro. You could also take Metro Transit or any public transportation. You could do rideshare. Some folks even biking down here.
Besides taking the shuttle through WCCO, how do you normally get to the fair?
I prefer to drive. and
You
deal with
do.
it. Because when I leave the fair, it's so nice to be in my own car. I'm driving home,
fair
and the
enough.
bus is okay, but I just find it more peaceful after a long day.
See, I disagree. I'd rather hop on a bus
Mm-hmm.
or an Uber or something like that and be driven home.
How's the Ubering out of there? I've never done that.
I've actually never done it. But I would rather do that. Okay, my husband Sam last year biked to the state fair.
It sounds like a good way to get there, right?
He said it was awesome. There are several areas where you can lock up your bike and there's a security guard right there. So you don't have to worry about your bike.
And there's going to be big news at the fair tonight.
I know. Yeah, the first day is tomorrow, but tonight there's going to be a new Princess K of the Milky Way. The 73rd annual coronation is tonight at 8 p.m., and 10 young women from counties across Minnesota are vying for this title. You can watch in person at the bandshell stage, or there will be a live stream on Facebook too. So Princess K is the goodwill ambassador for Minnesota's dairy industry, and the winner will have her likeness sculpted in butter over the next 2 days.
Butter.
Which is, honestly, not a lot of people can say that. And I'm a little jealous.
It's a huge deal, too.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just looking at the ceremony from last year and the celebration that the Princess K of last year had. It was emotional.
I honestly don't really know much about the Princess K of the Milky Way competition, but we will learn more because we are talking with whoever the future Princess K will be on Friday live at the fair.
It's going to be so much fun. At our live show, join us 12:30. We're going to meet Princess K. We're just going to have a great time. I'm so excited to meet our listeners.
Me too, and really walk you through this podcast, this daily news podcast that if you're listening, hopefully you're a returning listener, but maybe some people at the fair won't be, and I can't wait to explain it all.
It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be so much fun. Yes, 12:30 on Friday at the Minnesota State Fair. Well, those are the 4 things you need to know today. Let's check in now on our forecast.
Hi, I'm Next Weather meteorologist Lisa Meadows. Here's your forecast for tonight. We're down to 61, your overnight low. Tomorrow, sunshine. Great start to the fair with a high temp of 81.
And now, here's more to know.
Today, St. Paul residents will have a chance to weigh in on the future of flock cameras in the city. Several cities have ended their use of the controversial license plate reading cameras. The technology has really come under heavy criticism due to concerns about privacy and the possible use in immigration enforcement. Ramsey County Sheriff Bob Fletcher says the county has 35 of the cameras, and he adds that without them, the city could be more dangerous. Well, if you want to give your input, tonight's special meeting is at 4:30 at City Hall. All public comment will be limited to 2 minutes per person.
We're hearing some of the first feedback about what Minneapolis families want in their next chief of police.
The last chief, I got along with him. I liked him. However, it took him a long time to spend time in my community.
Community members weighed in during a listening session last night at the Depot in downtown Minneapolis. Now, this is the beginning of the city's process to find a new police chief. Former Chief Brian O'Hara resigned in May after accusations that he interfered with an investigation into whether he was having sexual relationships with some city employees. There are 2 more listening sessions scheduled for today. The first session is at 5:30 until 8 tonight at Fairview Recreation Center, and another listening session starts at 6 o'clock tonight at Bethany Community Center. There are also more sessions currently being planned.
A new Minnesota Truth Council is holding its first public meeting today, examining the impact of the federal immigration crackdown known as Operation Metro Surge and Operation Paris. That's short for Post-Admission Refugee Re-Verification and Integrity Strengthening. The council was created by Governor Tim Walz to document what it says are the impacts of those operations on Minnesotans. Today's meeting is from 2 to 5 this afternoon at the state capitol. You can find updates on WCCO.com.
Also today, we could learn if an ICE officer will be forced to come back to Minnesota. This is over something he is charged with during the ICE surge this past winter. We are talking about Christian Castro, and right now he is in a jail in Texas. Castro is charged with shooting a Venezuelan immigrant in the leg during Operation Metro Surge here in Minnesota. Castro accused the man of assaulting him with a broomstick and shovel before the shooting, but investigators say footage from a nearby camera in North Minneapolis helped prove that was a lie. Texas authorities arrested Castro soon after he was charged back in May, but Texas Governor Greg Abbott has refused to extradite him here to Minnesota. Attorney General Keith Ellison sued Abbott last week, and during a hearing yesterday, the Republican governor said he needed more time to investigate Minnesota's request. The judge is expected to make a decision in the case today.
A far-right instigator remains in the Hennepin County Jail, even though the county attorney says she will not seek charges against him. We first brought you this story yesterday. Minneapolis police arrested Edward Jake Lang on Saturday, and records show that he is still being held here for a warrant against him in Texas. Now, police say Lang and others drove onto the sidewalk near Minneapolis City Hall. They say they were heading toward a group of protesters. The county attorney says after reviewing evidence, there's not enough to charge him with a crime. In a statement, Mary Moriarty said, quote, "A lack of felony charges does not in any way condone this conduct. This is a legal decision based on applicable law." The Minneapolis city attorney, though, is now considering possible charges.
Maria, let's talk sports. The Twins lost last night. Not ideal.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
They're now 3 games out of that final wildcard spot.
Okay.
So they got to get some more wins, but they did have a big accomplishment last night. First time ever in franchise history that Taj Bradley, their pitcher, actually, I should say, threw an immaculate inning.
What is that?
That means he had 9 strikes, 3 outs, and the inning was over. That's an immaculate inning.
Whoa.
Yeah. 9 strikes in a row, done. So it's happened 3 times this season, but obviously first time ever for the Twins. And I'm actually shocked that's the first time ever. It's a great accomplishment,
right.
but we've been around a long time.
True. Okay, good job, Tosh.
Yeah, but they lost.
Yeah,
that's okay.
That's
I guess they're going to try again tonight in Sacramento. And this is a new study we're talking today about football players' risk of brain disease. It's kind of a tough story. It's being described actually as a wake-up call for the NFL. Now, the study was published in the British Medical Journal. It identified nearly 900 former players who died between 2016 and 2021. About a quarter had donated their brains to science, and nearly all of them had CTE.
Wow.
Researchers concluded at least 1 in 4 NFL players in that time frame had the degenerative brain disease, and they suspect the real total is actually likely higher.
Oh, my 1 in 4 NFL players. And how many players are on a team?
53.
53 times. How many teams are in the NFL? I mean, that is a lot of players.
A lot of players. And I'm not sure what position groups they're studying. Obviously, the punter isn't getting hit in the head as much as an offensive lineman.
Right.
But yeah, big findings. We actually heard more from Dr. Celine Gounder. She's with KFF Health News.
Over 60% of those who had symptoms of CTE, who were found to have CTE on autopsy, also went on to dementia. And those who are also at highest risk are those who played longer and who are more likely, for example, to be Hall of Famers.
CTE is linked to repeated head injuries that can occur in contact sports, and symptoms may include mood swings, suicidal thoughts, and problems with impulse control. Now, in a statement, the NFL said it, quote, continuously strives to make the game of football safer, including by implementing strategies to reduce concussions and head impacts. But certainly a big story that we're following that just came out.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
So we already talked about how the fair starts tomorrow. And as we look ahead to the state fair, we're also using this time to remember the great Dolly Parton. So we looked back into the WCCO archives and we found the last time that she performed at the Great Minnesota Get Together. Listen to this. Johnny, her last performance at the fair was years ago, 1993.
That must have been so fun to see her at the state fair.
Could you imagine? I would have loved to see her live. Her energy is just infectious.
Such infectious energy. I love 9 to 5.
Yes.
That's in one of my favorite movies. I think Slapshot.
Okay.
The
Working
Minnesota
9
hockey.
to
Yeah.
5.
It's just iconic. And we actually, at WCCO, Joseph Dames, our morning meteorologist, he turned our Weather Watcher tower pink today.
He did, with a little heart.
Which was so nice.
He has big love for Dolly, like so many people out there. I mean, her impact on this world was such a gift. It's still being felt here in Minnesota. The Dolly Parton Imagination Library, you heard of it? It's incredible. It's a program that sends free, age-appropriate books to kids every single month from birth to age 5.
Such a big impact she had. And the United Way of Minnesota partners with the program and says it's provided more than 1.7 million books to children in the area.
Rest in peace, Dolly. Well, thank you so much for listening here to 4 Things to Know with Johnny Kahner. I'm Maria Lisignoli, and we're here with the news you need every weekday afternoon by 3 o'clock.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.